Sie bezeichnet sich als urbane Interventionistin und als Changemakerin und kann beides einlösen beim Forum Virium in Helsinki. Das von der Stadt Helsinki als Innovationstreiber gegründete Unternehmen entwickelt mit vielen Stakeholdern smarte und nachhaltige Lösungen in der Stadtentwicklung. Warum Innovationen immer auch Co-Creation und Agile Piloting brauchen, präsentiert auf dem Körperdemografie-Symposium Kaisa Spilling.
So my name is Kaisa Spilling and I work for Forum Virium Helsinki, city-owned innovation company, and I've had the city of Helsinki as my urban lab for the past 10 years. My background is actually in marketing, business development. I'm also a trained service designer, but I call myself an innovation accelerator and urban developer. Today, we'll go briefly into what Forum Virium is and how we kind of help the city to aim their strategic goals. Then I'll present you Smart Kalasatama, our urban lab, and tell how we use it as the testbed urban lab for innovative solutions. And then I'll talk to you about my favorite subject, Agile Piloting, and how we use that for co-creating with the urban innovators and ecosystem. Well, you just heard about Helsinki's vision during our last mayor, which was being the most functional city in the world. So Forum Virium Helsinki always walks hand in hand with the city and aims to help the city to reach these goals. And actually, the earlier strategy was about open city. At that time, we helped the city to open the data and open APIs in order to provide possibilities to co-create better services. And actually, the most functional city in the world, it might have been with the last mayor, but I think we still want to reach this goal, and it well fits to basically everything we've been doing the past years, but also kind of keeping this in mind also in the future. In Forum Virium Helsinki, so we do co-create urban futures. Forum Virium was founded in 2005 by actually different companies that kind of wanted to have a common table to gather to in order to boost innovation. From 2010, Forum Virium has been owned by the city of Helsinki, which is a good thing because as a kind of owned by a public player, this helps us to get, for example, EU funding, which is the way we do operate. So we have a project portfolio of about 8 to 10 million euros a year. We're about 60 people working for Forum Virium Helsinki, and we also get some basic funding from the city. So who we are, first of all, we are technology experts, digitalists, business developers, social scientists, and urban geographics. So very different kinds of people who are eager to develop the city and really make Helsinki to show on the map. And we do co-create with other cities. We do common projects with especially European cities. And like Sanna mentioned, we do work very closely, especially with the 6 largest cities in Finland. But also within the Nordics, we have a very close collaboration network because the Nordic cities are basically very similar in their structures and ways of doing things. We do work with both large companies, but also then with startups and small companies, with the innovation and research sector, and not the least with the residents. So I have the pleasure to take you to Smart Kalasatama. You saw some glimpses on the video, and it's been really a great opportunity, at least for me, to work with this district from 2013, where there was about 1,000 people living there, and really seen how the district has grown and how we've been able to work with the different players and the residents during during the time. And in 2013, the city decided that Kalasatama will really be the place for experimentation, and we have also a license to fail, such as Sanna also said. So we really have been aiming to create a culture of experimentation, actually in Finland, also during the last Prime Minister's office, but very much so within the city. And if you look at the map of Helsinki, so we are in the shore, and actually as Helsinki is growing at a fast pace, so the older harbour districts are being built into residential districts, and the city has decided that those districts under construction are also used as innovation platforms to really test and create better solutions for the functional and sustainable city. So Kalasatama is located in the eastern end of the city center, only 5 minutes with the metro. And like said, it's growing all the time. And at the moment, there's about 7,000 people living in the district. But when it will be ready by 2040, there will be about 25,000 people. Maybe small from German perspective, but anyway, it creates a good lab for innovative solutions. Sanna also mentioned that it's important to have like something in common, be it then a common strategy or a vision. In Smart Kalasatama in 2014, we co-created a common vision together with the city and with the different players, the companies doing their own innovation projects in the districts. And that was 1 more hour a day. It also functions well with the goal of being the most functional city in the world that should be efficient, things should work smoothly, so that people have time to spend this 1 hour that's left in the way they best want to. So 1 more hour a day means that services are near, schools are near, health services are easily to reach, but also that things do function. And of course, they should do function also in a sustainable way, thinking about the sustainability goals of the cities over all Europe. And during the past 7 years, we've really been creating the ways for the district to work as an urban lab, as a test bed for the smart and sustainable solutions. So we have identified common thematic areas, from smart living for all, smart energy related to the sustainability goals, also green infrastructure, also much linked, not the least with the climate goals, but also with well-being of the citizens, and everyday well-being in general. So not only like healthcare, but generic well-being of the citizens. And our way is really to bring those different players from the city to the major developers, the large companies in the district, to the research and development and innovation actors, to the small startups that have their solutions they want to work with and want to have the first feedback and want to bring also to the global markets. And not the least with the residents whose needs are in the center of it all. So we do have piloting programs for bringing all those players together and doing something together. We have network activities where we make people meet and have a constant dialogue on the areas we want to proceed. We have a lab space, actually, where we can gather, but also that is open for the residents to use for their own gatherings. for example, when they do their own planning projects or household meetings, so serving the local community. And different ways that help citizen engagement. I try to explain how we see a district as an innovation platform. So what do we have to offer for the companies who want to test and develop their solutions? So first of all, we have the residents. So we collaborate with the residents so that we really we have solutions and systems so that they are easily reached when we come with different pilots where you can test or initiate or give your feedback, and also the residential quarters as spaces to bring the innovative solutions. We have the smart infrastructure, for example, the waste systems in the district that generate data, or for example, the smart energy grid. We have city services such as Kalasatama Health and Wellbeing Center. That actually is one of the main innovation platforms for social and health services in the city of Helsinki. We have a digital twin where you can also show new solutions that then help the urban planners or others to kind of see things that are not already there and bring different kinds of data. And the district itself also generates data from, for example, the smart infrastructure like the waste or energy, and that data, although not open, can still fuel new innovations. Plus also then we have the open data generated by the city that can be combined and used in different solutions. Agile piloting has been mentioned here a couple of times, and that was also something we talked a lot with the Kerber delegation while the visit in Finland. So I'll go briefly into what that is and give a couple of examples of what we had tested in Kalasatama. As Kalasatama was initiated to be the place to experiment, so we really wanted to bring ways for especially the small companies to easily work with the city and have possibilities to test their solutions. So we created the program in 2015 for really experimenting early prototypes in real-life environment. And the Agile Piloting program represents always from 3 to 5 pilots that may have synergies together under a specific theme. And those pilots are fairly small. They last maximum of 6 months. And we do pay for the pilots, for the companies, but normally the compensation is fairly small, from 5 to a maximum of 15,000 euros. So the companies really can put their time on it, but it's not a lot of money. So also this means that this is really an experiment. It's not really kind of always something ready after the pilot that can be just taken into use. But those are the first steps that can really push innovation forward. And I think we have at least succeeded somehow, because already at Forum Virium Helsinki, we've run several pilots during the past years within different topics, from mobility, smart city, to health and well-being. But also in the 6-pack cities, the 6 largest cities in Finland, the model has been taken into use. And actually already for a couple of years, the city of Stavanger in Norway has committed to use this model in their smart city services, so they do 2 rounds a year for Agile Piloting. And actually the city of Tallinn just started theirs this fall. And the aim is really to create value for all the stakeholders, for the startups, for the city, but also always the residents and value for the residents in mind. For the startups, we want to generate also market references. For the citizens, it's about being there and seeing what are the new smart solutions, and also possibilities to initiate and participate and test, give their meanings. And for the city, not the least, it's about gaining glimpses of future use cases, but also many times really learning about, for example, what to procure and how to build the future procurement cases. In the video, I really like the way you had presented our model, and I'm not going so much deeper into it, but we have a model, and actually what comes to health and well-being, so my colleague in their projects within the health and well-being sector, so they also have created a model that goes deeper into how really to adopt this within the health and well-being, and I saw a glimpse of it in the publication presented this morning, so you will have the chance to take a look at that as well. But basically, it's about co-creating the focus with the parties you are about to engage in the thematic area, engaging the city and, for example, also other players relevant for the topic. Then reaching potential startups and players via an open call and selecting the most interesting pilots to then experiment with during the experimentation phase. And during the experimentation phase, we really see that as a way to co-create. So it's not only the startup who's doing their thing, but also the city puts a substantial amount of time, many times, in the pilots. Also, we may have very active players from the district who, for example, open their doors for experimenting with new solutions. And we can use the infrastructure, buildings, data, and services as the foundation when we experiment together. And then we do learn and reflect. So basically, I see there are no failures. A failure is actually just another kind of learning. You may learn that this was not the direction, it's something else. So the goal of an Agile pilot is not getting forward. Of course, that's a nice thing also that can happen, but the goal is to learn as much as possible. And then we do scale up. So what do we scale up then? We do scale up the learnings, we can scale up new models, we scale up, for example, finding new partnerships for the players, and in best cases also the services do scale up and are taken into use. I will give you a couple of examples. For example, in 2020, during the Corona phase, we had a very interesting pilot in Smart Kalasatama district. In the shopping center Ready, we have a supermarket, and they deliver food for one of the first high-rise buildings in Kalasatama. So together with Dimalog, a small robotics company, and the larger players, Kone for the infrastructure and SRV, a construction company running the high-rise, or who's been constructing the high-rise building. We ran a pilot together with the residents with the autonomous robot using the elevators and delivering food for the building. And actually, this pilot was well taken by the residents, and actually people were very happy because it was at the Corona time, so they did not want to meet any delivery guy, so a robot was a safe thing. It stayed as a pilot, but the same company at a later stage piloted this kind of delivery thing within Kustankartano Senior Center for delivering meals for the patients there, and thereby giving more time for the healthcare personnel. Another area is the green infrastructure that has actually grown into a whole bunch of projects within Smart Kalasatama, as it's something that the citizens especially have been asking for and aiming, as the district under construction is many times very much grey. You need to plan also the greenness in a district. So we've been experimenting from modular solutions and placemaking to digital tools to support urban planning. And a recent example is the Green Kalasatama app that engages the residents to see how a park area within a new block could look like in the future, and they also may play with the AR app to place bushes or trees to different angles, so give their own opinion also about this thing. And this has been really something that the residents have been very happy about, as the park area is under construction at the moment. We see that the ways of working with the residents and with the ecosystem are also innovative solutions we want to scale up. And actually, this year we started a new project, Helsinki Innovation Districts, where we want to also bring the best practices, not least also the solutions, and also do want to test sustainable solutions in the older districts. And Sanna was actually talking about the libraries, and when we go to the older districts, so city services such as libraries also serve as a very good way for reaching the residents when there is already kind of existing services and infrastructure we can go to. I think I'm going to end my time, but before that, so just want to show you something or give you something more in hands. So while switching from Kalasatama to Helsinki Innovation District, so we also wanted to kind of document in a way the different tools we've been using for innovation and co-creation. So on our website, we also share some of those tools. So please go and visit at toolsmarthelsinki.fi to get some inspiration. And it's also our way to open a dialogue with other urban innovators and developers. And I think I'll let also Jonathan to share a link after my presentation, because just yesterday our publication on Smart Kalasatama experiences and results was finally out in English, as we only had it in Finnish in the summer or in the early fall. So I can also share that for you for later use. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kaisa, for sharing your tools for innovators with us. I could really feel an atmosphere of innovation. You said a culture of innovation taking place here, filling the room. I hope you share my feelings. Well, there might be any questions, be it online or here. Just go ahead. Kaisa Spilling is waiting to answer them.
There's no online questions so far, just for you to remember. At the right top corner in your browser, you find the Q&A section. Okay. Just feel free, if you ask in German, we'll translate. And we got a question in the second row.
Coming, Niels, first.
Nice to meet you again. I have a question about the... Oder ich mach's auf Deutsch.
Yeah, no problem.
Wie kommen die Themen?
How do you find your topics? Do you look for topics themselves? Do people contact you or companies? How do you... how are you accessed, how you are approached, and how do you say then this is exactly where we can use our method to find a solution?
How does a new topic come up? Is it the company that asks you, we want to try something, the citizens coming and asking for their needs? How do you start and focus on a new topic?
Well, within Smart Kalasatama, as in the new project now, Helsinki Innovation Districts, so we first also try to create a kind of thematic roadmap, which is kind of the overview roadmap. And then within the thematic roadmap, then we start to build up new topics and themes. And then actually open call within the Agile Piloting is also kind of fairly open. So then when we ask for new innovative solutions, so basically we have not tied it to too small, so actually that's a good way to bring in the solutions. But also sometimes, like said, so initiatives may come with our dialogue with the citizen, and for example from surveys, from our networking events where we kind of bring different parties to discuss, and by actually physical meetings, so those are good ways to kind of process the new ideas forward.
Next up, Eva.
Eva from Körber Foundation, Körber Stiftung. Thanks, Kaisa, very much. I have a question about the experimentation phase. How do you find the citizens, and how do you make them to engage and like it? And because when I think about that, of course, not every pilot will succeed. Mm-hmm. But the citizens engaged in experimentation, then they engage in projects that don't succeed. And maybe that doesn't help that they want to engage a second time. How do you work with that?
How do you get citizens engaged?
Yeah, well, this is a very good question. And it has been... First of all, my answer is that we do work for getting the citizens engaged. They don't just come and are there, so you have to do something to get them engaged. So we really, as a lab, we try to have an ongoing dialogue with the local citizens. And when we select the pilots, so we think what is in there for the citizens, whom are the ones we target for getting them on board. And actually I have to say that one of the most kind of popular pilots early days was actually kind of a service for senior citizens. It was called Fit Friends, so that there was like kind of senior groups led by seniors from the district, using also digital technology. But it helped the people to kind of gather, and there was someone who was in charge from the district. But well, it's about understanding who will like it and who will be engaged to who do we want to engage, and sometimes some pilots need more kind of engagement. Some are just about going past and testing it. So we also have different means of engagement within one pilot.
I think we have the time for one last question, and it will be you to ask it.
Thank you. My name is Hans Hinken, coming from Freiburg, Germany, and I'm co-founder of the alterskompetenz.info. So my question is, how did you moderate the process of co-creating? And it looked a little bit like a design thinking process, or did you use the approach of Otto Scharmer with the theory U?
I think you are right. It has a lot of similarities with a design thinking process, but as we are kind of urban lab, so basically it's kind of living lab process where we really think all the time, what does this mean for our ecosystem and network? How do we get the different players to participate in the different phases? But I think the mindset is very much that of a design thinking process.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kaisa Spilling. I think this...
1 second, there's no questions online, but there are 2 comments I'd like to share with you because they're really nice. I had to smile when I just wrote it. The first one is no question, but full of admiration for the superb project. Keep going from Sabine Illing. And also, Germany can copy a lot of that. RESPECT to Helsinki.
Great. Happy to help copying. Thank you.
Hat euch das Video gefallen? Dann abonniert unseren Kanal, um kein Video zu verpassen. Schaut gern auch in unserer Mediathek vorbei auf körber-stiftung.de/Mediathek und folgt uns auf Facebook, Instagram und Twitter. Danke fürs Zuschauen und bis bald.